You got clutch.
What's going on, people? It's your main man, JohnnyclutchCards, back at you again with another ESPN Fantasy Football update. We have just completed week 2. Actually, we completed week 2 earlier yesterday, because it's actually Wednesday right now. So waivers are running. It's a little bit late, but better late than never. Let's get into it. So first, let's take a look at our first team, which is this is a renewal league from last year, pay league. We were able to escape here with the win, 114 to 106. I think that brings us to 2-0 in this particular league. This is the league where, Alvin Kamara, left us hanging. Mike Davis left us hanging. Patrick Mahomes kind of carried the team. Darren Waller was only decent. Marquez Callaway. So we got a little work to do, some retooling to do and to move around with. So let's take a look. You see Kyler Murray. Yeah, it was a pretty good team. Just luck of the draw. Luckily, Devontae Adams did well, but he didn't get the extra 8 points he needed to beat me this week. So we'll take it. We'll move to 2-0, and let's take a look at our team. I've already made some drops, some cuts. We moved Nico Collins down here into the IR. We get 4 IR spots here. And, I'm tempted to cut Marquez Callaway. I'm tempted to cut Tevin Coleman, even Randall Cobb, and pick up new players. But I'm going to wait and see what shakes out of the actual waivers later on this morning. Because, like I discussed last week, sometimes that's the better strategy, is to give yourself an opportunity to move up. Right now I'm 12 of 14 teams. If other teams are more desperate, obviously if they got, I think there's only 2 teams that are 2-0, they might be a little more desperate, more willing to move around. We know that we need a new defense, because with the Dolphins having Tua injured, I doubt they're going to be able to run ball control with Jacoby Brissett at the helm. Dustin Hopkins is a great option with Fitzmagic at the helm. I'm not so sure with Taylor Hickney. And with kicker, I'm just looking for somebody who's on a team that, is going to go up and down the field a lot, but they may not score touchdowns, like a Las Vegas, right? Somebody like that. Those are ideal teams. So that's what I'm looking for there. Obviously, we got Tony Pollard on this team, and we don't have Zeke. So maybe we go to the Zeke owner this week and try to trade Pollard to the Zeke owner, see if we can get something back that can actually help our lineup here, or maybe get a couple pieces. Who knows how they're feeling after Tony Pollard's 23 on Sunday. So that will be the strategy that I'm going to incorporate here. I think that kind of covers it. Like, this league is a pretty deep league. I think it is, let's take a quick look. I think it's 12. Let's see. Yeah. It's 14 teams. Even right. So it's 14 teams. So, the rosters are very drawn out, which means, there's not a lot. There's a lot less in the player pool than in other leagues. So you have to, who you have in each roster spot counts a lot. Now let's take a quick look at the free agency to see. Let's see. Daniel Jones is out there. He's interesting. Sam Darnold is interesting, just from because really what I'm looking at in this situation is, how can I get more assets on my bench that if they pop, I'll be able to pivot into something else to actually help my team for the entirety of the season. So you can see Marquez Valdez-Scantling here, Darius Slayton. These are all interesting guys. This is a guy that I'm probably going to be targeting a lot this week, Jerick McKinnon, with CEH fumbling. I haven't really heard a lot of talk about it. Jerick McKinnon, somehow I actually targeted coming out of preseason, just because I know he's on the team. Jerick McKinnon is one of these guys who's been hurt a lot in his career, but was always picked up, was always designated to be the guy, right? So I think in that offense, he's a guy who catches a lot of passes. He and he doesn't fumble a lot. So I think it's a guy that if he can stay healthy and he gets a chance, I think he's more explosive than Darrell Williams, and he's going to be more explosive than CEH. And if Andy Reid can figure it out and get him, some playing time, he could be impactful, closer to the way that Kareem Hunt was a few years back. Because that's really what fantasy football has been chasing, is another Kareem Hunt alongside the Patrick Mahomes. It's just that Damian Williams isn't it, Darrell Williams isn't it, and Damian isn't it during the regular season. In the playoffs, he's great. Darrell isn't it, and CEH isn't it. So neither was Le'Veon Bell, by the way. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be looking to try to add a couple of these guys onto my team and, try to hold them for a week or two, see if we can get something going and be able to start doing maybe some 2-for-1s, some 3-for-2s, things of that nature, to try to consolidate some more talent onto my starting lineup so we can get stronger and get ready for the playoffs. It's a long season, and you just got to be ready to kind of not give up today and fight to tomorrow and just keep plugging along. So with that in mind, keep fighting. We're going to skip to this team. This is my Dak to the Future team, and as you can see, we are 0-2. This is an eight-teamer. We lost 108-82. As you can see, we've already started cutting people. So we cut the kicker, we cut the linebacker. We're going to pick up some fresh people. We got Gronk down here. We're probably going to put him in next week, see how that goes. Debo. It's a lot of people, really good people on this team. But once again, going back to what I was talking about last week, it's only 8 teams. So really, it's more luck, right? It becomes more luck of the draw because all you have to do is have the hot guy or a couple of our hot hands, and that could just sway the whole thing for the week, right? Because everybody has a really, really good team. So obviously we had Dak, who kind of dropped an egg. Dalvin and Zeke were both serviceable, so was Justin and Keenan. But I think the kicker and the linebacker kind of let me down. Obviously, Galladay and Gibson weren't anything to write home about either. So in this league, it's pretty much a whole league. I don't think we'll take a quick look at the free agency pool and see what's in here. Not a lot of anything too crazy. Keeping in mind this is an 8-teamer, right? So, my bench already has a lot of similar players or better players on it. So what we'll do is we'll wait. We'll see what shakes out. Then we'll fill our team accordingly, based upon what gets cut and what's still available. All right. So we'll get back to where we were. Moving right along to position limits still suck. We're able to scrap this one out. I think we're a high scoring team this week. 191 to 178. Again, Patrick Mahomes, Zeke, Antonio Gibson. I think you see like a theme coming in here with some of the people that I drafted. Cooper Kupp's been a beast. Chris Godwin has been solid. Tony Pollard. We haven't seen Odell Beckham or Will Fuller play yet. This particular league doesn't have injury spots. But, just not having position limits this year has helped me tremendously, being able to kind of stack positions that I need. So what we will do is start trying to retool. So what we may begin to look at is people who are really balling. Because this is a league where it's kind of a what have you done for me lately type league. Name recognition and what have you done for me lately are going to play big into being able to get deals. So Cooper Kupp, balling out of his mind, is a guy that I might try to pivot out of if I can get a requisite player that I'm going to plug in, and maybe something to go on the bench too, because I kind of feel like my bench is not that strong. It's not a lot of people that I'm going to play here. Probably going to cut Jawan Johnson, possibly. Keep in mind this is a 2-point per reception league, so that's something to think about too. Guys that kind of fit that mold of being able to get targets, catches. That's why J.D. McKissick is probably going to get picked up here shortly when the waivers are in. We won't be in the bidding for him. and we'll just wait to see, what else shakes out of here. Let's look. Let's see. Darnell Mooney. Okay, yeah, exactly. Teddy Bridgewater. Let's switch this to rest of season. McKissick, Tony Jones Jr., Alexander Madison. So, a lot of times you might hit this kind of funk. Like if you have a strategy that you're working and you're not getting the players that you need to execute that strategy, then the other thing I like to do is kind of stack backups, right? So I might go in, like we just saw Alexander Madison, Tony Jones Jr., people on that line, J.D. McKissick even, and see if I can stack those guys on the bench and get rid of some of these people that's on my team. And then, hope for a shift in playing time, right? It's always, it's a long season. People go down, people be out a week or two. You want to be able to give them the opportunity to pivot. A lot of times people might not even get hurt, but the fact that, they missed a couple plays might make them more mindful, like, oh man, I got Dalvin Cook, but I don't have Alexander Madison. I might need to go get him. So that's another thing that you can kind of lean into and use it to your advantage, because there's always a move to be made. It's just whether or not that move has value to you and what you're trying to do long term. So let's move on to my work league. It's my work league. Going for the three-peat this year, trying to get it. I was able to pull out a tough one. This one was amazing that I won this game. So this is a league where I was using the multi-team management tool at Fantasy Pros, and I thought I did this league, and I left Josh Jacobs in my lineup. So I started the day by taking a 0 here on Josh Jacobs. And then in the first games, Jason Sanders added another 0. So I was like, man, there's just no way I'm going to pull this out. I had resigned myself to, I'm going to lose this. And by the end of the second games, I realized I was winning by a nice sizable score. And I was able to pull it out. TJ Hawkinson and Swift weren't enough to overcome me. And so that was that. At the end of the day, it all worked out. So that's really good there. We're gonna take a look here. Now this is a league where you got some sharp people in the league that pay attention to a lot of stuff. Some people are more like home league players, so they have preferences, they have tendencies, they have biases that you can kind of that you can play upon by giving them exactly what they want, so that you can get exactly what you want in many instances. And then just being able to talk, knowing people's email addresses, and being able to lay it out. Like, hey, look, I'm looking to make a trade. I would like to get this position. I see you got a lot of those. I have a lot of this. How can we work something out? I've been able to do, all variations of what I just said in this league in the 5 years that I worked here. So just going through here, there's some really good people. This is a standard league, so keep that in mind as well. Tony Pollard is a guy that probably I might actually put in a waiver request for Tony Pollard here, just because I want to get him if I can. If I can get him, I'd rather have him than let somebody else have him, particularly in this league where it's they're a little bit more cutthroat. I think quiet is kept. They're a little bit more cutthroat than other leagues I play in, even though it's a work league. So let's see. There's Tony Pollard. I'm going to put in a request for Tony. See if we can get him. We need to drop a player. Now I can do this all in the Fantasy Pros app, and that's probably what I do for the rest of my teams. But, just because I'm covering my ESPN teams, if you guys want to see the other platforms like Yahoo or Flea Flicker or CBS or NFL.com, I'm playing on all those platforms currently. So just let me know, and I'll cover some of those teams, or maybe do an additional short video to cover whatever platforms you guys want to see. So in this particular situation, I was thinking about cutting Jason Sanders anyway. So if I can get him, I'll just cut Jason Sanders because I was going to pick up another kicker anyway. And we'll see if I get them or not. I'm 9 of 10, so the likelihood of me getting them is probably slim because I'm sure the Zeke manager has got to be, sweating bullets to make sure that they get them, just in case. Okay, so with that being said, we're gonna move to our last team. This is a pay league. I believe the pay-in was $40 or something along them lines. I found this on the CBS Facebook, I believe, Facebook group. They sent this league over, or one of the members there. We got in contact with each other, and he sent me an invite, and I joined this league. In this one, we lost, and this actually illustrates a pretty good point here. And that point is, I don't mind losing. I don't mind losing, right? Particularly on a week when I'm like one of the lowest scoring teams. Like I scored 100. I barely beat this team, which was the actual low score. So I was the second to lowest scorer in the league. And I played the team who scored the most points, 157. So to me, I don't mind this week losing. I don't mind losing like that. I actually prefer losing like that. What I really would mind is being, scoring 150 and losing 157 to 150, right? And the reason I say that is, there's a bunch of ebbs and flows during the season. So if you look at my team, Kyler balled out, Carson did okay, Swift was okay, Tariq went missing, Antonio went missing, Goddard went missing, Devontae was okay. The defense and the kicker, they went missing too, right? What that means is, to me, is that, okay, if 9 times out of 10, you have somebody like Tariq Hill have a bad week, that next week, he's going to be a beast. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't mind it. If I take losses and I lose to the number one scoring team, that means there's not any amount of points I could have had that week that would have beat that team, per se, given the final scores, right? And what that also means, if I had a bad week, I just had a bad week. I don't mind having a bad week. The idea is to not have a bunch of bad weeks, get into the playoffs, and make some noise. So that this illustrates my point perfectly, right? Don't mind losing. I would rather lose. I'd rather get stomped out like this than have 156 and lose, because that would be one of your optimal weeks to get a dub, and instead you got an L. And when it comes to the end of the season, it's kind of like the luck of the draw, how the schedule plays out, obviously. But it's one of those things that, like, you'll look back on like, oh, dang, man, that 157 to 156 game I lost, right? So we did pick up Brandon Ayuk. I know we talked about that last week. He got a little bit more playing time this week. I'm probably going to hold him another week. This is a PPR league. I'm thinking I'm probably going to cut the Washington football team defense, and I may cut my man Younghoe Koo as well. Let's take a look and see what is in here. Let me go back 1 second and see. I'm 7 of 10. So let's see. All right, this is Rondell Moore. I think he's going to be popular this week. The speedy receiver from Arizona. There's Matt Prater from Arizona. That might be a good kicker. Ryan Suckup might be a good kicker, even though these are high-powered offenses that are probably going to score more touchdowns than kick field goals. But, sometimes, beggars can't be choosy. Be nice to pick up the Carolina Panthers if that was a thing. Actually, no, I'm 7 of 10. I'm not going to put anything in. I'm just going to let it play out. We're going to gamble again this week and just kind of let the dice roll and see what shakes out. This is a good week for people to give up on players. 2 weeks in, if they haven't seen what they thought they were supposed to see, they're probably going to cut them. Last week, somebody cut Brandon Ayuk. This week, who will they drop into the free agent pool for me to scoop up? We're going to be watching and paying attention and seeing what we can do. In the meantime, it seems like there's enough defenses where I'll still be able to cut the Washington football team and pick up, Indianapolis or New Orleans or, somebody, which is cool. So I can wait on that as well. And then I think that's pretty much it. So I think all my teams are set. I think we only put in one request to pick up a player. We'll wait for these next couple hours to pass, and wake up tomorrow morning and check this whole thing out and see how everything plays out. Good luck to you and your team. If you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought, what you want to see, what other things you want to see me break down. I'm probably going to get into trying to do some trades here, week, after week 3 or maybe even prior to week 3. We'll see how tomorrow plays out. And, if you want to see those types of videos, who I might be looking to get off of, how I might be trying to negotiate to get off of them, and those types of things. Anyway, just let me know what you want to see. My name is JohnnyclutchCards. I am for the people, by the people. You only got me and the Constitution. Please remember that.